guys, happy deck kicking Monday, except it's Q&A with me today. I'm so super excited. Josh and Zoe are off elk hunting and having fun. And you know, we've tried to shoot a deck kicking Monday without one or the other in the past, and it feels so awkward. We are like, Josh is my salt and I'm his pepper. I don't know. But anyway, we go together, so we can't do a deck kicking Monday without the other one. It's a package deal. So I went to Facebook and Twitter and I asked you guys, I said, look, I want to do a Q&A with just me. So what are your questions that you have? Fire away. You guys have asked some fabulous questions, and I love this because you're asking questions that I want to answer so badly, but for one reason or another, I don't have the time, or it doesn't present itself in a vlog. You know, it would be awkward. So I'm super excited. I have a ton of great questions. Okay, so let's get started. And let me know what you think at the end of this video. I guess you have to watch it to let me know what you think, because we could do it again if it's fun, if everybody has fun. Okay, so first one. Hey Christine, I hope Josh gets a big elk. Me too. This is Heather from Facebook. We love you guys and have a question. How do you guys budget for auto repairs? Do you have a set amount as a specific auto emergency fund, or do you just have a sinking fund that you put a little into each month? We have a little sinking fund that we put a little into each month, unless we're saving for a big purchase, say like the transmission needs work, or tires, you know, things that are obviously more than our little amount in our envelopes. Then we have two sinking funds. So our auto sinking funds cover normal wear and tear items like wiper blades or oil changes. And of course, Josh does it all. I am so lucky. Every auto repair, seriously, that comes up, the man, he YouTubes it. I love YouTube. Until he can figure out. He keeps learning and asking until he can figure out how to do the repair himself. So, and then the separate sinking fund would be for like tires, for example. Thank you, Heather, for the question. Okay, Susan. Hello, fellow Feather. Hello, Feather homeschooling mama. My question is, what curriculum did you choose to use this year, and how are the girls adjusting to homeschool life? Do you have any regrets pulling them from public school? If not, what do you like best about being a homeschool family? I'm so glad you're asking me this now. I purposely did not answer this question for many, many weeks because I didn't want to deter many of you who are thinking about homeschooling. The first weeks were rough, you guys. I out loud said many times, I can't do this. I can't do this. So how the girls have responded is they encourage me. They're doing better with it, no joke, than I am. Come on, Mom, you can do this. God made you to teach us, and we love it, and just keep going, and we're going to have rough days. And then they'll fill in and they'll like make lunch or vacuum or make my bed or do things that are above and beyond because they're sweet. They're just good girls. And then it's that little bit of extra oomph I need to get through a tough day or whatever. Okay, so we chose My Father's World for our curriculum. I love this core curriculum. It is so fun. You guys see our pictures on Facebook and social media, Pinterest, or yeah, well, some of them come up on Pinterest, but Instagram and Twitter. And honestly, all of the fun things that we're doing are spelled out in my teacher's manual as all of these different countries that we visit. Sometimes I don't have the time to give each country everything, like Canada. I wanted to make Canada so much bigger, but we were pressed for time, and that's just the way it goes. So I love My Father's World. I love it. The core curriculum was like $459 for both girls. They study together. They do their own language arts, their own math. We chose Math UC. Zoe struggled with math, which was a big problem. Our school is accelerated. We went to a private school for 7 years. Love that school. Honestly, nothing bad to say about our school. But my girls, Zoe in particular, it was just too far advanced, and she couldn't get the concepts fast enough before they were moving on to another one. And math, we struggled with math for like 3 years, guys. It was stressful. It was 10 o'clock homework nights, and easily if we took a sick day, we were so far behind. And it just, through my pregnancy with T and with the newborn days, it reached its height, and I just prayed and prayed and prayed that there has to be a better way, and God revealed that homeschooling was an option. And it took me a couple years to come around, and I'm so grateful that I did, because it was definitely a good choice for our kids. I love, if you go My Father's World, just do your own research. Language arts isn't quite working for us. We're going to switch a couple things up. I plan on updating you guys in just a homeschooling video, because there's so many things I have to talk about. Girls are doing really well, and I don't have any regrets, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Thank you, Susan. Tracy, yesterday I paid my last payment toward baby step 2. I am debt free except for my house. Before the end of the day, I set up my 2016 budget and sinking funds for baby step 3, a vehicle and summer vacation. However, I'm wondering if I should do baby step 3 faster and 15 paychecks bi-weekly, then start a vehicle fund and summer vacation fund, or start it all now. The way it is now, baby step 3 will be complete in July. Your thoughts? That's a lot to fund, sister. The thing is, I don't want your plate to be too full, because I don't want you to become discouraged trying to fund all these different bigger things. These are big things. A vehicle is a huge thing to save for. If you could, at all costs, I would get through baby step 3, you know, if that car can wait. And vehicle, could you take a vacation after July? Maybe not a vehicle, vacation. Could you take a vacation after July and maybe cash flow it? Might not be a big vacation like you want, but it would be paid for, and maybe a more minimal vacation. And then next year, with baby step 3 done, you guys can go on and take a huger vacation. The vehicle depends how bad you need it. I would wait, if you could, until baby step 3 is complete. If not, throw a vehicle fund in there too, so that you're saving for that as well. Jackie, hi Christine, what a fun idea. I love this. How do you find your balance? Girlfriend, this cracks me up, because I have asked myself this question thousands of times. Also, what is your advice for couples who are losing steam with the snowball? We have dumped a large amount of debt, but it still feels like we have so far to go. So how do you recharge and get gazelle intense when you feel discouraged? Okay, so there's a lot of things going on here. Balance there is no such thing as balance. It is false. Whatever people tell you, the highlight reel on everybody's social media, it's all false. I have to tell myself that it is their highlight reel, because then I'm not comparing myself to what somebody else is doing. Honestly, guys, there's not enough time in the day to be a perfect wife and a perfect mom and a homeschooling mom and a YouTuber. And like, honestly, that facade is a facade. Everyone who does it perfectly has help, whether it's a job or whether you're balancing, who knows? I mean, we're probably balancing a lot of the same things, but unless you have help, unless you're, in Hollywood, it's a facade. It is a facade. So stop comparing yourself. I don't know how I went off on this tangent. I just did. But stop comparing yourself. Don't do it, okay? Just accept that you're only capable of doing everything you can in one day, and giving yourself grace. Like, you have to give yourself grace, okay? That's how I find my balance, I guess. I'm always off balance, so that question is funny. Also, what is your advice for couples? Okay, so losing steam with a snowball. You guys need to celebrate the littler things, the small things. Go out to dinner when one credit card gets paid off, or go on a weekend away when you pay your car off. I mean, you've got to celebrate. You have to spend money and not be so stingy on this journey. Otherwise, you will regret it and you will hate the whole process. So that's how anytime we would start to lose steam, we would fall back and regroup and look at the things that we were doing right, and remember where we've come from, and realize that this is going to take time. This is a journey, and it's not something that's going to be over. And you almost don't want it over like that, because then it's just a memory and it's gone too quickly. So does that make sense? I'm proud of you guys. And so how do you recharge and get gazelle intense? So don't be discouraged. Remember, celebrate the little things and celebrate where you've come from. Thank you, Jackie. Angela, how's homeschooling going? What do you wish you knew beforehand? Oh, this is a good one. I need to make a homeschooling video. Maybe with just your questions. That would be fabulous. Homeschooling is going great this week. No, I'm kidding. Homeschooling is going really good. We have like 1 or 2 things that I personally struggle with, and the rest of it is going fabulous. The kids have been so receptive to this switch. I was prepared for really a tougher battle with the girls than I'm getting. So it's going really well. The things that I struggle with are my mommy things, not my relationship as a teacher with the kids things. It's how can I live out my passions, which is YouTube and connecting with you guys and growing Debtisdum, whatever that's going. I just want to make videos and be happy. And I had all the time in the world to do that before you guys when they were in school. That has been the toughest part for me. Of course, my kids are my number one priority, but it is healthy for mamas to have an outlet. Some of you, it's going to work. It's working out of the home is your outlet. So that's the thing that I wish I would have known better. I just thought I could throw homeschool in there with the mix and still do YouTube and still do my church commitments and still do mommy coffee dates and all of the things that I could do. I just thought it would just get thrown in there, which is very naive of me to think that, obviously. So one thing I wish I knew, whatever it is you're passionate about now, you gotta find a way to make it happen. So now I'm getting to a place where I get up early. Honestly, the most productive time is at 5 a.m. working on videos, or we'll finish school usually in 3 or 4 hours and my headphones are on. The girls take Tennessee, or she lays down for a nap, and I get a couple hours to work and respond to your comments and do that. So I'm still in that, I'm still trying to find my groove with that, but I'm getting closer. Basically the professional side of me, that's what I wish I would have known beforehand. That's the only struggle I have, you guys. Kim, hi Christine, any tips from your home to ours for getting through the holidays joyfully? Oh, we try to get all of our holiday shopping finished before Thanksgiving so that we can just enjoy the Advent season stress-free and Christ-centered. We like to remove the distractions before the season begins. We donate to our local Birthright and to Toys for Tots to spread the spirit of Christmas. But it feels like family drama and a million other things creep in and contribute to a stressful season despite my best efforts and prep. Okay, Sister Kim, I get this. I get your struggling. I get where you're coming from. I mean, how many people can understand? We always see Christmas, like in a woman's mind, going differently than what reality is, right? So, okay, so a few years ago, I just prayed and prayed and prayed about it because I found myself just wanting the holiday season, the Christmas season just to be over, which is not at all how we should feel like it should be. So a few years ago, I set boundaries and I looked at my little family and I thought, what is important to us and what do we need to do to preserve that? And so we have our few commitments that we do, that we commit to, like you've got yours, which is fabulous, your traditions, but also commitments, like we are in the yearly Christmas program at church, and we go to the singing Christmas tree, and there's just things that we looked at each other and talked, and the things that are important to us, and we asked the kids, and they're old enough now that we're starting to get our own traditions, that we made those a priority. Anything outside, it's kind of like Dave Ramsey when he talks about paying your creditors. You pay those above the line, and then if they're below the line, sorry, I'll pay you next month. It's kind of like that idea where I'm sorry, that's below the line. We don't have time. Learn to say no, because then your family will not pay the cost of you spreading yourself too thin and saying yes to too many things. So think about the things that are important to you. Make those a priority. Draw a line in the sand, and we don't go over that line. Make sense? Okay, it's been a while since you've laid these out, but with the new year upon us, would you mind sharing your sinking funds? This is Christine. You and I have the same name, it's just yours is way more prettier to spell. But with the new year upon us, would you mind sharing your sinking funds and monthly envelopes with us? I know not everyone's will be the same. For example, we budget for annual union dues, but most people need and may not take into consideration clothing funds, auto repairs, etc. Thanks so much for your transparency and tough love. I hope Josh gets a big elk. My hubby nabbed us a buck. Good job. They were chasing a buck yesterday. They never did get it, but yay. Okay, I loved that video when Tennessee was new. I guess it's been a couple years. Did we do one last year? I don't remember, or the beginning of this year. I remember that one because Tennessee was brand new. But we did do an envelope video, and I loved that, opening up to you guys, because we learned so much from you and you learned so much from us. So definitely let's do that after the first of the year, or around January 1st. Josh and I will totally lay out our envelopes and how we budget and how it all works and how we plan for things for that year. You bet. I love it. Okay, Stacy would love to know how the girls' behavior had changed when you changed what they ate, and the differences you noticed, and the trial and errors about what they reacted to. Oh, this is a great question. I read this question in the comments a few times, and it's always, it takes so much more than just a response. Okay, so about June, I was really frustrated with Grace. It started with Grace. Just meltdowns were getting worse, temper tantrums, and then just everything. Well, I was talking to a friend, and she said, we tried this for my daughter, and my son, and he was in Grace's class, and you should look into it. And is it anything that she could be eating? And I was like, no, we eat whole grains. We eat really good. We eat healthy, lots of fruits and vegetables. And so I started reading up on it, and I started with the Feingold diet, FEINGOLD, which was a great start. It was very overwhelming to switch to think about, okay, I remember the realization that I have been poisoning my child is why she is throwing major temper, like at 7, the size temper tantrums and the meltdowns was her reaction to food sensitivities. And not just like food sensitivities, like food poisoning, literally. The ingredients that are in the foods that you eat, the dyes, the chemicals, the petroleum, it's damaging. And I didn't know any of that. Even the soaps we use, the laundry detergent, what we wash our hands with, the shampoo, the conditioner, the makeup, face painting the girls can't do. They just break out. I mean, like welts. So what a blessing it was to start with the Feingold diet and have that support. I definitely recommend go check out their website if you have a child who is having very bad behavior issues and there's no reason or rhyme to it. So Feingold, we cut out a lot of things. We switched our soaps. I started making a lot of things handmade, and we still were having those reactions even on the Feingold diet and eliminating those foods. So I just started pulling. I started pulling so much more. Like ended up going gluten-free, and we ended up going dairy-free, and I kept pulling things away until I saw that the reactions were stopping. So we ended up paleo, you guys. That's why we eat the way that we do, because the girls, it wasn't just Grace, it was Zoe. Grace reacts with anger, and Zoe reacts with like a giddy, like a delirious, I guess, kind of attitude, which not like a normal happy child attitude, like I've lost my mind, I'm going crazy, like I'm bouncing off the walls off of just drinking milk kind of reaction. So if this is your kids, start with the Feingold, and absolutely we'll go to a birthday or we'll have a holiday like Thanksgiving, and Grace will have something, or Zoe will have something, and it will quickly, it affects the girls immediately. And I think in my mind, thank goodness we know better now that this will just take a couple days to get out of their system. But anyway, huge change. Sorry I spent so much time. This is something I'm really passionate about. So we started with Feingold, then had to keep pulling so much that we kind of modified, made our own. Paleo seems to work really, really well for us. Thank you, Stacy. Great question. Amy, hi, Christine. How do you get started in debt kicking when you've already blown the bank and are worried before Christmas has even started? Truth be told, we've had a lot of things go wrong with our house this year. A lot of unplanned for repairs and unexpected bills that threw our entire budget in the toilet. It seems we are now in a place where we don't know what to do. We are paralyzed. Do we sell this house as is, or spend thousands of dollars to replace all the plumbing, replace all the subflooring, fill in the crawl space, and numerous other things? Or should we just call it quits and start over somewhere else? We have about $40,000 left on our mortgage. It seems we are at a standstill, and it's causing us a lot of stress. We already sent it through State Farm, and they only gave us $605 for all of the repairs. Our policy does not cover pipes, flooding, or mold. Major disappointment. Most policies, surprisingly, don't cover those things. Oh my land, Amy. What a nightmare, literally. Oh, okay. So to get out from under this house, like, these things have to be fixed, you guys. Like, to even make it sellable for the next person. I think you probably know that by now. Okay, so you have $40,000 left. What do these repairs total? I mean, do you have, like, what is your total? And can you take out a loan to fix the repairs? Yes, it would make your mortgage higher, but you know, then you're in it for the long run. You guys are committed to this house. I would just stay and pay down the mortgage, because you have to have those things done. Or you can fix them and sell it, and you know, it's really your choice. That is not an easy situation to be in. I don't know, without knowing your whole entire situation. Oh, how sickening though. $605. You guys. Okay, so Jessica asked, how do you deal with defiance from 2 children at one time without blowing your top? I have 3 boys, age 5, 3, and 1 month. The older 2 never want to listen and say or shout no to everything. Time out does not work. I am going crazy. Okay, this question cracked me up. I look back on my girls your age of your kids. I thought I would never survive those years. You mamas of under preschool and under, especially those of you who have a lot of kids in that age group. It is the most stressful time, honestly. I ask myself those questions all the time. Am I going to survive this? And through the grace of God, I did survive it, and you will too. That's the good news. And I think that as a mom, we beat ourselves up so much that I'm a failure for doing that, or I made the wrong choice, or I should have handled that differently. When I realized to give myself grace that I am not going to be perfect, that helped me to just breathe a real big sigh of relief that, you know, you're not going to damage your boys permanently. Like, they're going to be okay. And also, when I was wrong, I confessed to my girls, and I said, you know, Mom made a really wrong decision, or I slipped up and I said something that was hurtful, or it just wasn't necessary. When I owned it, my girls, oh, it's okay, Mom. They learn to forgive, but they also learn that Mom is human. She's going to make mistakes, and she's going to mess up, and it's okay. And so I think communication, I know what you're talking about, because Zoe was like that, believe it or not. I couldn't get through to that child for anything. But when I learned to communicate with my kids, it changed. Granted, I have girls. I don't know how different it would be with boys, but I would think the communication is the key to making this work. Go for a walk. Exercise is a really great outlet. If you can, by yourself, find girlfriends to go exercise or go walk with, or just sometimes it was just getting out of the house. You know, just tell your husband that, hey, I need to leave right now. It's healthier for everybody. And that time away does wonders. And even if it's just going, honestly, I have done this. I've gotten in the car and just parked in a grocery store parking lot, and just prayed and just sat there in peace and quiet so that I could hear myself think again. And by the time I always came home from either sitting in the car or a walk, that issue had resolved itself. So, but communication, try talking to your boys more often. Hi, Christine, wondering, how do you budget for the holidays? Oh, that's a good question. We have a very modest, not a huge, this might surprise some of you guys, but I don't know. We have a lot in common with you, so maybe not. Less is definitely more, and we only do $50 a month in our budget for Christmas. And so, but that encompasses everything Christmas related. Gifts for the family, gifts for the kids, stuffers, Christmas tree, photos, having our Christmas cards printed, anything that is Christmas related, decorations, it goes into that category. So actually, and then blessing others. Some years we have chosen to just get a few things and then put a lump sum of the money towards blessing other people. So it just depends, but it's nice to have that cushion, and I don't regret it at all. I actually think that we don't need more than a $500 or $600 Christmas budget. for our family. Gina, what made you ultimately decide to homeschool? We're praying for children in the future and are contemplating homeschooling all 12 years. We'd get home, honestly, at the end of a school day, and Josh would come home from work, and we were so frazzled, you guys. Life was just like crazy, and we'd looked at each other and we were like, how did we get here? Why is this happening? And we realized a lot of our stress was the communication, was lack of communication. I knew that a huge breakdown was with homework till 10 o'clock at night, and there's only one way to fix that, and that was homeschooling. And we prayed about it for a really long time before we jumped into it. But it's something that, you know, I wouldn't trade for the world. Not only we're saving a ton of money, but it's also I believe this is how it's intended to be, and to learn from your kids and have your kids learn from you. I love it. I actually love being with my girls all day, every single day. Not saying I don't have my moments. I do have my moments, but I do love it. So good for you guys for thinking that route. With once a month meals, does your family, Missy and Greg, with once a month meals, does your family buy groceries just once a month now instead of every 2 weeks? If so, how do you budget for that? That's a good question. Once a month meals is a service. Link is always down below in news videos, in every video. And it's basically your shopping list, your prep instructions, and your cook instructions. And you're cooking, you're spending like 3 days cooking and prepping for the whole month of meals, and it's fabulous. So we do grocery shop for the bulk once a month, but we leave a couple $100s aside in our grocery budget so that we can buy milk and bread and the basic necessities that you do run out of. So, and bananas and fruits and all that good stuff, and vegetables that obviously you can't keep for a month. So, Emily, what was the purchase debt you regret the most before doing FPU? Probably the credit card debt, because I was trying to fill a void that was stupid. I was doing it it didn't make me any better in the end. And overall, all of those tiny purchases that led up to just $12,000 in credit card debt. To live without credit cards there's no other freeing thing right now. And I beat myself up too, and I'm really hard on myself. Like, we're not getting through this baby step as fast as I wanted to, or we had to fund that or that or that. And then I think, oh wait, we paid cash. Like, we've come so far. So credit cards was my one purchase and debt. I know that that's kind of a vague, but that's my one. How do you deal with anxiety? What do you do when kids won't stop arguing with each other or with you? Denise, this is a good question. I take lots of breaks. I take lots of breaks with girlfriends. I surround myself with my girlfriends, people who pray for me and lift me up. They're just a text message away, and I have some friends that I can just text and say, I just need prayer. I'm having a really hard time today, and how they ask them to specifically pray for me in those ways. And it is so life-giving. And then anxiety. Before I go to sleep every single night, I give myself grace and release all of the things that I was beating myself up over that day, or just difficult situations or battles. I just release it every single night, because tomorrow it starts over, and it doesn't matter tomorrow. And I also communicate a ton, whether it's with Josh or the girls. If I messed up, or if the Holy Spirit is revealing something to me that I need to make right, I do it as soon as possible, because then I have an extra piece to sleep. So I guess don't beat yourself up so much. And then what do you do with the kids when they won't stop arguing with each other or with you? Usually when that happens, in my experience, that's when they need you the most. So take that one child, maybe go on a date, just a mini, like to McDonald's or a healthier restaurant, and just something simple and cheap that gets you out of the house for a couple hours with just that one child. Listen to their heart, put down your distractions, social media, cell phones, all of that stuff, and just listen to them. By listening and communicating, you will accomplish so much with your kiddos. So, Debbie, 2 questions. How do you budget for medical? Being an older couple this year, it's hit us hard. My husband had surgery on his neck. Now I need the same surgery early next year. I got normal visits budgeted, but the unexpected x-rays, MRIs, physical therapy, it is eaten into my emergency fund. Second question, being both the logical one and the free spirit. Oh, look at that cute snowman. I have to have him. How do you resist the urge? Oh my goodness, this is so funny. As I was in a shop yesterday that was like heaven on earth for me. Okay, so medical. You guys just have to have a big, if you've done, I'm sure you've done all of your homework on your medical plan and picking the best plan for you. It's having a huge emergency fund to self-insure. How do we budget for medical? We're very fortunate. Josh does a great job. We pay very little a month, but we do have good sized deductibles. And so we take that into consideration with our emergency fund, and partly why we want a larger baby step 3 is because of possible health medical issues that could come up. And then the cute snowman issue. So one rule we have in our house is 1 in, 1 out. So if I bring home this item, something has to go. And I try so hard to live by that rule and to get my girls to live by that rule. And so if it's a little item and it's definitely something that is going to make you happy, one has to go. And have your extra money, your blow money envelope, that you can just spend it on whatever it is that you like and without guilt. If it's a bigger ticket item, like Josh and I have an agreement, anything over $50, we have to come home and talk to the other person about and sleep on it overnight. So not just talking about it, but also sleeping on it. So that's just something, if you have a really big I usually look around my house, like if it's a piece of furniture, and sell a piece of furniture before I buy a new piece of furniture. Does that make sense? Anyway, so, and then sometimes, usually you just walk away and say no. I mean, sticking to your budget always works, because then you get what you want. But also exercise walkaway power. Like, are you going to think about that snowman in 2 hours when you're off doing something else? Probably not, if you didn't need it. So, I don't know. Hopefully, those are just kind of my guidelines. But that's it, you guys. I loved doing this. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought and if we should do this again. And be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed already. Also, all of our social media links are down below in the description box, so you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and all that good stuff. So we will see you again next time. Thank you for letting me do this. Bye.